I have no idea what I have because I don't have the prompts yet. Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me in this Paleteful Packs October 2021 unboxing. As always, the full description of each item in this month's box will be listed in the box below, so let's go ahead and get started. So I forgot to first check for the sticker because I was so overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that was in this box. I was genuinely shocked and in disbelief. So the first thing I pulled out was the Jelly Roll pen in white. I recently learned if you use them barely touching the paper, the white really does show, and apparently it dries to be waterproof and fade resistant, which I never knew, and it retails for $1.49. Next, I pulled out the Winsor Newton Fineliners in 0.5 and 0.1, both in indigo. These pens have a smooth tapered nib and they do glide very nicely on the paper. I was super impressed with how these felt, and I really cannot wait to use these to line some illustrations. They are definitely water resistant, and they also claim to have a fade-proof pigment ink, and they retail for $2.99 each. This one threw me off a little bit. We received a Tombow Dual Brush Pen color set of 6 in blue. They retail for $16.99. I have quite a few Tombows because I've received them in many boxes. They have one end with a soft workable brush tip, which I love, and one end with a fine tip. The water-based ink is blendable, but in my opinion, it can be super streaky if you're just using it as a marker. My favorite way to use it is by adding some water to the marker on a palette so that you can have some nice even flat washes, because even if you add water on the paper, the water will not completely dissolve the ink. Paleteful also included a link on how to use these brushes, which I thought was very cool. And here's the sticker that I completely forgot about. Up next is the Fudensuke brush pen pack of 2. Not sure if I said that right. I probably didn't, so I'm not going to try to say it again. This contains a soft tip and a hard tip marker. It says you can create extra fine, or medium strokes by changing the pressure that you use the pens with. The hard tip isn't as bendy as the soft, of course, so you get thicker lines from adding more pressure to the soft tip. These are awesome for lining, and it's water-based. I love these tips on markers. They retail for $6.98, and we've been getting a lot of markers with these kind of like fine brush tips, and I'm really liking that. There were also links on how to use these included in the email. I don't think I'm gonna watch them, but there's a link called Kawaii Doodle Shop, and I'm probably gonna watch that one. So I have never seen this next item before, the Tombow Blending Kit, and this was such a nice added surprise. I know some people may feel whatever about it, but the reason why I liked this so much was for the little palette itself. The markers inks sits really nicely on the surface, and as I said, I have many Tombow dual brush markers, so I'm really happy to find out if I've collected at least half of them or not, because on the back of the palette it has like the colors that they have available, and I prefer using these markers from a palette rather than straight on paper. So for me, this is definitely a plus for the box because now I have like a little dedicated marker palette. The kit features a set of tools that are specifically designed to blend Tombow dual brush pens or any other water-based ink. The kit includes one colorless blender, one spray mister, and one tips and techniques instructional guide on blending palettes, and this kit retails for $9.99. And for our surface, we have a Strathmore toned mixed media paper pad in toned blue. It's 6 inches by 8 inches. It retails for $5.69. This mixed media paper can be used for a wide variety of mediums ranging from wet to dry. And I've been wanting to try this out for the longest time, so I'm super excited to finally have it. Now that we got everything out of the box, let's move on to my thoughts and opinions on this box while we art. I tried to follow some of the tips in that little brochure that came with the Blending Palette Kit. And although I'm not good at lettering, it was interesting to see what they gave as advice for like tips and techniques for blending. One of the suggestions was to swatch a darker color on the palette and then dip a lighter color in it, and when you write it would have like a kind of blending effect, and it was really effortless. It definitely worked, and although I was concerned that it would mess up the ink or like damage the tip, like maybe it wouldn't clean itself and go back to the normal color, it definitely did go back to the normal color. I hope PALETTEFUL starts including little brochures with tips like that. I really enjoy when art boxes have some sort of guide to the products, because sometimes I don't know what the product is supposed to do. And there were many times where I've had to YouTube art supplies to figure out the best way to use them, because I think what may turn some people off or make them feel like the mediums that they got in a box suck because they don't know how to use them. I still have to sometimes look it up just to make sure that I'm using them the way that they were designed to be used. It's fun to experiment outside of the purpose of the supply, but you know, that's what happens when you decide to challenge yourself with exploring new items. Sometimes you have no idea what you're gonna do and you have to do a little bit of research with it, but it was cool. So then I decided to do a cat, but then I abandoned that and turned it into a cat girl of some sort. I was a little thrown off by the blue theme because I felt like they already sent us like some blue markers by Monami, but turns out that that was actually Sketchbox and not PALETTEFUL. PALETTEFUL did, however, send us a little mini green set that I absolutely loved by Tombow, so I wasn't surprised that I enjoyed these, although I did feel like I felt like 4 of these markers were almost exactly alike. Even on the swatches on the palette that they sent us, the colors looked very similar, like on the back of the printed that had all the colors on it. The colors looked really similar. But my first initial thought on this box is that the amount of stuff we got was awesome. It was very well curated, and the products go so well together. Unfortunately, I did not get to try the paper this time, but I'm really looking forward to it. They claim that it's the perfect hybrid of 2 of their most popular papers, I guess, 400 series toned sketch and 400 series mixed media. The flip over covers feature sheets that stay in the pad yet tear out cleanly. So I guess they're saying that has a really nice like smooth tear. You know how some papers, when you're done with them or when you want to take them out to use them, they have like that little plasticky glue at the end or your paper ends up tearing. I guess these are really easy to come apart. They say that these papers are 100% recycled with 30 PCW, are acid-free and proudly made in the USA. The surface of this paper can accommodate for graphite, colored pencils, markers, acrylic, watercolor, gouache, pen and ink, charcoal, gel pens, and I'm sure I've even seen some people use oils in this thing. So yes, it's a plus without even trying, but maybe that'll change when I actually try it out. Who knows? The 2 black brush pens we received were so amazing. I can't stop using them now, and I don't know what it is about these tips, but I just really enjoy them so much. I'm also super happy with the mister that came in that little blending kit and the palette, because 1, I don't think you can have too many misters, and 2, just to have a palette dedicated to just markers, or at least water soluble markers, is just awesome. So I guess overall, I think this was a good month. I'm not exactly sure how often I'll use the Tombow brushes, but I know I'm going to be loving those fine liners and probably the mixed media pad. I also think PALETTEFUL has been really stepping up the game and expectations of what an art box subscription should look like, or at least feel like. And I don't normally talk about value, and I'm not going to right now, but this definitely feels like I got my money's worth. Again, thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like, follow me on Instagram. After Inktober, I will be going back to my daily art polls on what to create for that day. If you followed me on my old one, I now have a new account. If you're already following me and subscribed, thank you so much for interacting with me in my videos. Let me know your thoughts on this box, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!